Hey guys, here we are, Red, White, and Ruthless, number 17. All right, today we're going to talk about ICE and these attacks on the folks working for ICE. Um, man, it really is disappointing when a part of your government works to actually, and there's no other way to say it, to actually attack and injure um, the people that you employ. All right. No Democrat has came out and said, "Hey, we don't believe that we should have, you know, ICE employees. In other words, people who work to, protect our borders. In fact, they'll say that that's part of their platform is to have, secure borders. I mean, Biden said it the entire 4 years. He just didn't do it. Um, and I think that's intentional. I think they say it because they know that America, I mean, by large, I mean, 90% of America wants a secure border. I mean, it's just a reasonable thing to want. You don't want criminals coming in. You don't want mental health patients. You don't want terrorists, crossing your border. You want a secure border where there's a process to become a citizen, where there's a process to enter, just like every other, country in the world. There's processes to enter, the country, and it's reasonable. But when you speak to Democrats, um, I don't know where they're coming from. They'll say it is, but then they'll associate illegal immigrants with legal immigrants. That's all you hear from Democrats. Well, America was built on immigrants. Yeah. Why are you so fucking stupid? Legal immigrants. Okay, legal immigrants. Right? I mean, it's not that hard, people. And now we have, and I've got a video that I'm going to play. But it's really upsetting when the people that are elected are essentially calling for violent attacks, riots on our citizens that are doing the job that we hired them for. I mean, these are serious, serious attacks. And I'm telling you, there is going to be some murders. They're coming. It's happening. Okay. Well, I'm gonna play this video. I'm gonna play this video.
Biggest story in the country. ICE agents are being attacked. Federal law enforcement is being attacked. It's happening all over the place. And it's really a problem because the Democrats are not stopping it and, in fact, are instigating it in so many ways. On Thursday night, a ICE raid at a marijuana facility in California turned into a riot, and one of the rioters shot at law enforcement agents. During that stop, they found 10 juveniles working at that facility. 8 of them were unaccompanied. So we have a situation where this problem has grown in the last few years. We all saw it happen on our border and throughout our.
Okay, did you hear that? Okay, the minors were working and they were unaccompanied, meaning they're on their own. Okay, this is what Joe Biden and you Democrats created. Okay, you knew you were doing it. You've got minors who, and this is what was happening, is these minors were coming to the border. They had, whether it be wrist bracelets or whatever, they had a contact for a person in the United States that was supposedly their caretaker, what have you. Okay, so they would get there, and there's very little care given to whether this minor, this child, was going. They called the number, and these numbers were to these the same people that would get hundreds of calls and would claim that they were the caretaker for these children. and they would release the custody of these children to these people, and and they knew that these people were not a relative or a true caretaker. They were facilitating human trafficking of children. Okay, that's what. So now they're putting them to work. And do these kids also have to perform in the child sex slave arena as well? I don't know. And the thing is, neither did the people that worked for Joe Biden that facilitated this shit. Okay, this is absolutely disgusting. Okay, um, you know, I'm gonna play some more of this video. I'm getting pissed off.
Country where people were coming in unvetted. The Donald Trump campaign really was about stopping that and about reversing what had happened. So people voted for the president based on this. It's not something that he invented after taking office. And the fact that these rioters are shooting at ICE agents and shooting at law enforcement agents, it's a big tell that this is all they've got. They don't have the argument to make to the American people that we should have open borders. So instead, they are turning to violence to stop this from happening. A few days ago, on July 4th, a dozen masked and armed assailants attacked an ICE facility in Texas. One police officer, an Alvarado police officer, was shot in that exchange. Thankfully, he survived. All of this violence has really blown up in the last, few weeks, but it's been coming for a long.
So think about that. There was 10 people that were arrested. And what happened is they coordinated an attack on this ICE facility. The folks that were being attacked were inside the ICE facility. They were fairly safe. I mean, they were being attacked from the outside, but similar to a prison, if you're inside, you're fairly safe. You're in concrete buildings. You're in buildings that are they can't get to you without entering a secure perimeter, which they weren't able to do. But they called local law enforcement to come to help defend their facility. And here's this this guy, police officer coming, and he gets fucking shot. That's what's going on, people. Democrats are supporting and encouraging this violence against ICE detention facilities, against ICE, uh, uh, the folks that work for ICE. What and they're trying. The other thing they're trying to do is expose. I think they call it docs. I'm not up on all the acronyms and all that shit, but quite often these ICE agents will cover their face. Now they do that for obvious reasons. Is there's news cameras everywhere. These people want to identify them. They want to know where their names. They want to know where they live. Why? Because they want to attack them. Okay. And now what are Democrats doing? They're trying to force the ICE agents to not wear the face coverings so they can identify them. That's what these fucking politicians are doing. They want these people dead. They want blood on their hands, people. All right. Why would they do that? They know they're not sitting back and saying, listen, we disagree with, how we're going about the, deporting these, these illegal immigrants and so on and so forth. But we recognize the violence that's happening and we want to protect our agents. No, they're not saying that. Okay. They're saying we want to see their faces so we can identify them publicly, and they know this fucking shit right here is exactly what's going to happen. Okay. Democrats want blood on their hands. There is no doubt that that's exactly what they want. And it's absolutely disgusting. I'm going to play some more of this video. I'm getting pissed off again.
Time. We had the firebombing of Tesla facilities. We had all kinds of 8647 signs during the protest marches. It's brewing. And the fact that Democrats aren't stepping up and saying, this can't go on, is a real issue here. If it were the right that were attacking law enforcement agents or anybody because they had a political message and they wanted to do it through violence, every single Republican in the country would be asked, what do you think about this? Where do you stand on this? Instead, Democrats are getting a pass. And the truth is that Democrats have already made some really sketchy comments about this kind of thing. Hakeem Jeffries said that they will find out every single ICE agent's identity. Even if they're masked, they're going to find out who they are. That's a threat. A piece in the Atlantic.
See what I'm saying? Hakeem Jeffries wants to identify the ICE agents. Why does he want to do that? Because he wants them dead. He wants them attacked. He wants their families to be put at risk. Okay? How big of a scumbag do you have to be to want that? These people are doing the job that we paid them to do. Right? That's it. That's it. If you want changes, you change the policy. Okay? And by the way, the policy that is putting these people back to the countries that they came from is what the American people want. Okay. You may not like it, but people want this. Okay. And there has to be, I mean, simply wanting a process to enter a country to where you do it legally by the laws and regulations of that country. I mean, what is wrong with that? And if you do it illegal, that makes you a criminal. Okay, and then you get deported. I mean, it's pretty fucking simple, people. But if in this case, Hakeem Jeffries apparently doesn't agree with that. And he wants to identify the agents enforcing the laws of our country, and he wants to target them for assassination, essentially. I mean, he won't say that. Of course, he won't say that. But he'll say, oh, we want them held accountable for their actions, but their actions are based on the laws of our country. Okay? It's simple. We all know what he wants. We'll play some more of this.
Atlantic portrayed these agents as kind of out of step with the American public, but poll after poll is showing that Americans want to deport all illegal immigrants, not just the criminals, not just some subset of that population. Marquette had that number at 64%, CBS News poll 57%, ABC News poll 56%. This is a wildly popular issue that the Democrats are once again finding themselves on the wrong side of. And the truth is, if they would just say, look, we want open borders, we support open borders, that would be one thing. That would be something for them to run and campaign on and see where the American people stand on this issue. But they don't do that. They say that they want to close the border. They say that they want to stop illegal immigration, but they don't do that either. I think the American people are tired of this, and I think that they've had enough. The Democrats really need to say right now that this kind of violence needs to stop, or they're risking that violence spreading to them also. We've seen comments from Democrats where they are told that people on their side are saying to them, we want blood in the streets. Well, you can't have it. So make your people tone down their rhetoric and make the violence stop.
One ICE agent responded to this by raising a new flag in place of the destroyed one.
Yeah. Well, that bothers me. All right, like she said, man. I mean, she put it really well. Is if you want open borders, then that's your political platform. Is hey, we want open borders. We don't want. We just want people to be able to come in, anytime they want to and leave anytime they want to, and that's what we're running on, But they don't. They say they want border security, but then they support border insecurity. Okay. And then they support violence against our ICE agents and law enforcement in general. I mean, this wasn't an ICE agent that got shot. It was a local police officer. All right. It's horrific what the Democrats stand for these days. And I've asked it a number of times, on my social media. Is like, what is the political platform of Democrats? What do you stand for? I mean, the answer is pretty simple. It's anything that Trump stands for, we're against. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, it just cure for cancer. I mean, if Trump was in support of that, they're going to find fault with that. All right. And they've taken it to such an extreme that the majority of Americans see exactly what we're dealing. We're dealing with crazy people now. I've had some, some friends unfriend me on social media, which, it's fine. I'm obviously outspoken and I have my opinions, I make them known. And that's why I started this podcast. And so if you want to unfriend me. I don't really care. I would prefer to have dialogue. And that's normally what gets me unfriended is, you start the dialogue and then they don't like what I have to say. And it's really hard to counter what I have to say. So they just start with name calling, and usually it's some racial thing or what have you. And then it's, we're going to unfriend you or threat. Obviously you guys know that the threats too. But yeah, now it's the Democrats aren't hiding. They're out there publicly promoting violence against our ICE agents and detention facilities, and that's what's happening. And fortunately, it's the crowd that doesn't really use weapons. There's not a lot of snipers in the liberal crowd. They don't really know how to use weapons that well. Most of them don't own them, and so fortunately, they're not very good shots. But like all things, that's going to change. They're out there practicing, they're out there doing their thing, and eventually there is going to be blood on their hands. It's going to be sad, but yeah, this kind of bothers me a little bit. I hope it bothers y'all to where you speak up to your liberal friends. We all have them, and some of them will engage and you'll be able to talk sense to. Some, not a lot. I mean, let's be honest. When you have somebody who hates Trump, are you able to really talk to them in a way that their mind is open and they're really able to have a discussion that doesn't result in name calling and threats and so forth? It doesn't happen that often. I've invited a number of people on my podcast that were on social media. I've had some disagreements with, and we've gone back and forth. And I said, hey, come on my podcast. I want to, I guess, debate you and engage in some conversation. But so far, nobody has taken me up on it. I'm still looking for that person. Comment somewhere. Let me know. Hey, I'd like to debate you or talk to you or whatever. And I'd love to do it. But so far, no takers. But I'm not Charlie Kirk, man. I mean, I'm not Ben Shapiro. I'm just a guy who knows knows a few things, and I support Trump, and I'd like to have some conversation about it. So, maybe you'll catch me, maybe you won't on a bad day. I don't know. But this detention facility attack and the other stuff, the thing that really, I mean, it all bothers me. But these kids that are working out on I don't care that it's a marijuana farm. Marijuana is legal in California, and I don't really have a problem with it being legalized, in America. I really don't care. But the fact is, they have these kids working out there, and they should be in school. All right. Kids should be in school with their family, but they had no caretakers. Right? These kids are being, essentially forced labor. It's just crazy. And the Biden regime, the Biden crime family, created that. Right? They created it, and it's totally okay. You don't hear a Democrat talking about it. Obama deported about 3 million illegal immigrants. So far this year, under Trump, it's about 350,000. All right. But Obama did 3 million. Y'all never said shit. Never said shit. Okay. So I don't know what to say about it. It's sad, but that's where we're at today. Thank God Trump is leading our country, and hopefully he continues to do that for the next until 2028, and we'll see what happens then. I can tell you this: Democrats better come up with a platform other than hating Trump and the opposite of Trump, because y'all ain't gonna win on that. That's all I got for you today, man. Take care, and God bless Texas, man. These floods have been really doing a number on us down here, but Texas strong, and y'all take.